and welcome to the Silent Y podcast.
You've been getting really annoyed with me singing that Eminem song. Guess who's back?
Yeah, it's not a great song anyway, but it's so repetitive.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
In the UK.
Well, I haven't got to that bit. That was the next bit.
Oh,
next
sorry.
Section. I was going to introduce a podcast first. Okay, this is the Silent Y podcast, a podcast talking about loss and grief and trying to find hope in it. And we're on a mission to find 101 different types of loss and grief. I've lost track of which one we're up to. I want to say 63.
Oh, no, it's not a loss.
What?
That you've lost track of what we're up to.
No, it's not. This is going to be a really difficult episode. I can feel it already.
Okay. I'll stop interrupting.
Yeah, that'll be good.
We're up in the 60s.
You know what I said at the beginning, that I would do the intro and then I'd introduce you at some point? You haven't even let me introduce you yet.
I'm just too excited.
I'm Claire.
I'm Chris, husband and wife. And in those 60 losses, there's been body parts, losses of loved ones, friends, family members, close and distant. There's been losses of identity, losses of unusual things. How have people processed them?
Just seeing how long you can go without running out.
No, I'm done. List of 3.
Okay. I've lost track of where we are now.
Okay,
well, we're back. Yeah, so it's a podcast about loss. I'm Claire, you're Chris. We're back in the UK. We have been away. If you've heard any of our episodes, the last 2 episodes, well, 3 actually, they were about our trip to Australia. So we went to Singapore and Australia for 8 weeks, and now we are back fully into Christmas. So yeah, how does it feel to be back in the UK?
well, it's nice sitting in a nice little sort of recording studio that we've made for ourselves. It's nice having our lovely microphones back, even though you like the little ones, the fluffy ones.
Yeah, they were good. They did a good job.
I'm not missing the paranoia of mosquitoes trying to attack me while we're recording. I am missing a little bit looking out for kookaburras and bobtail lizards. That was nice. And I guess, yeah, one of the main things is the weather. Big change in the weather.
I'm slightly distracted by the fact that the plant behind you keeps touching your head. Do you want to move that?
Well, it's this. I don't know what you're doing with this avocado plant you've been growing from a seed. you chopped it right back and it's come back bushy.
Really one-sided.
Now I'm sort of underneath it.
It's so lopsided, bless it. It's winter. It will sort itself out. Anyway, yes, we are. Yeah, I do miss the kookaburras. I thought I would want to live in a hot country. I think most people in the UK think they want to live in a hot country. But actually, having been in a hot country for a period of time, well, not that hot actually, Australia wasn't that hot. Well, periods of it were, but it wasn't all hot. But tasting things like Singapore, I've actually come back thinking, no, I wouldn't want to do a country that was hot all year round. I definitely need the cold snap, the fresh air, that filling your lungs with like cold kind of wintery chill. I've decided I'm somebody who likes to come inside to the warm and outside to the cold. And all of these hot countries, you're outside in the warm and you're inside in the cold. And that's just not me. So I'm more appreciative of England. I'm still like not enjoying the grey and the wet, which we've had a lot of this last week. But when it's sunny and the blue sky and it's cold, I'm loving all that.
Yeah. There's been days of that. You sent me a lovely video when I was at work last week, back to work for me, of yourself in hat and scarf.
Yes.
And happy and the sky was blue. We've had a few days like that, which have been lovely. Today's all right. There's a bit of blue up there. It's quite a bit of cloud.
From my view, it's grey. But I think if you look around the corner a bit, you can see some blue.
Yeah, look through the avocado plant if you can. And there is some blue out there. But we have had quite a few days where it's just been 10 degrees, constant drizzle or rain, dark. And in our house as well, we've got a north-facing house and the sun is low. We're in a housing development. So, you don't get much sunlight and it just feels like the house is dark from...
We have
from
to put
9 a.m.
like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm putting lights on to do stuff. But the good news is, because it's Christmas, you can switch the Christmas tree lights on, you can switch the fairy lights on. So it feels quite nice. I'm not looking forward to those dark days when it gets to January, February. Having said that, yesterday we had the shortest day of the year. So from now on, our days should be getting a bit longer, which is really weird because when we left, the clocks hadn't gone back. So the days were still long-ish. And now they're getting longer again. So we've skipped the whole getting shorter thing completely. We came back, the sun was setting at 4 p.m. And when we left, it was probably, I don't know, maybe 7ish still. So, yeah, it's been a weird little winter for us. But I quite like skipping that bit.
Well, part of your processing, I guess, of where we're at with the weather and the times build up to Christmas has been a slight obsession with increasing the number of fairy lights we have in the house.
That's true. Yes, this year I bit the bullet. I just kept going.
Just get going. So when you talk about the darkness in the house, you are remedying that
I
by
am.
adding more fairy lights.
And I'm wondering how many of them could actually stay for the whole year.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of not going to be too surprised if I wake up one morning wrapped in switched on fairy lights.
That'd be great. I'd love a husband that wanders around wrapped in fairy lights.
Yeah.
Just providing light.
Well, the technology is getting better, isn't it? Because traditionally the fairy lights would just be plug in, switch him on, switch him off, and then they introduced the sort of little, whatever, the junction box where
Battery.
you can change the 7 or 8 different sequences of
Oh,
flashing.
I see.
That was the
Yes.
next technological evolution, and now we've got fairy lights that work off batteries, which is great. But also now the batteries have sort of battery
Timers.
packs have built-in timers, so they're
Yeah.
on for 8 hours.
No, which is good and bad. I can't see a way around it. I mean, to be honest, they were $4.99, so they're not like the most advanced battery pack. I don't know how long they'll last. But yes, they've got a timer that's built in. So when you turn them on, they stay on for 6 hours and then they turn off for 18 hours. I'm struggling a little bit because I kind of want them on from about 3:30 till about midnight. But 6 hours doesn't do that. So I'm having to work out how late do I put them on, and then they go off before we go to bed sometimes. So to be honest, if anyone's listening and they make fairy lights, I could do with 8 hours, not 6 hours.
Right.
So that's annoying me
Yeah,
a little
no,
bit.
that's fine. We do have quite a few listeners in the fairy light manufacturing industry.
Maybe they're all in that industry.
So there are more lights up in the different rooms of our house and outside as well.
Yeah, outside the
You know,
house.
providing some light for those returning. Even though I'm like, can we not just, I'm the tight northerner,
Scrooge.
Northern England, Scrooge. No, well, Scrooge, that's a bit harsh.
Scrooge wouldn't have fairy lights.
Financially, so I'm like, they should go off when we go to bed. But you're like, what about the poor individuals walking down
That's right.
the dark pavements at midnight? And I'm like,
It might bring
that
a
might be
smile
one
to
a
their
week.
face.
And we're
Actually-
paying for hours of electricity.
Martin Lewis, the money guy over here that does all the kind of this is how to, spend your money. He did a thing a couple of years back basically saying it's so cheap to run fairy lights. It really isn't worth worrying about turning them on or off to save any money. It doesn't count if you've got the whole house covered in lights. But for the average person running fairy lights on their Christmas tree or outside the house with a couple of sets, it's so minimal. He said it's really not. You're looking at pence a month.
I will try to believe you and adjust my expectation and Scrooginess accordingly.
Excellent. I mean, it doesn't come close to what you'd spend on beer.
Why do you always throw that one at me?
Because the only one I have.
It's
the
a
only
hobby.
thing I have
It's
that
an
your
expensive hobby.
Yeah, exactly. So these are I don't have expensive hobbies, so they're my equivalents.
Okay.
Yeah, and we don't have children. Think of all the money we'd be
Yeah,
spending
we both
if we
use
had
that
children.
one, don't we?
We do.
Yeah,
Should we spoil
treat
ourselves
ourselves.
with this? Well, we don't have
We
children,
don't
so
have children.
this would be nappy money. We may as well spend it on fairy lights.
One thing that is nice is being back among the music, the imagery of your typical Western Christmas in an more appropriate climate. I couldn't accept Australia having wintry wonderland songs and it snowing and images of Santa Claus in his big red fluffy jacket and boots while I was wearing shorts and flip-flops. It didn't make sense when it's 30 degrees outside to be listening to songs about it snowing.
It was very hard to feel Christmassy in Australia with all the songs and everything on while it was warm. It just doesn't compute. It's like, no, it doesn't work. And I wonder if you ever get used to that. And vice versa as well, those who are used to hot Christmases, whether they ever get used to the cold. Maybe they do. Maybe they're like, this is what it's supposed to be. Now it all makes sense. But yeah, I think, what you've grown up with, if you're around it for that long, it's very hard to shift something like that. So I really struggled to get, I don't think I would have got Christmassy at all. I mean, we even had a Christmas meal with our hosts, like full on. They got us like little presents and they had the full roast and everything. It was very Christmassy. But it's sort of like, I don't know, but it's sunny. It doesn't seem right. Where's all the grey and the wet and the rain ruining the afternoon walk? And yeah, it just didn't feel right.
You aim higher than that. Where's the snow and the log fire? And
I think we have to let go of the snowy
chestnuts?
Christmas idea in the UK. It's so incredibly rare.
Yeah, it's true. I think your grass is probably greener in somewhere like Canada, isn't it?
I feel like at the moment, so I'm pitching all these different countries, like what has the best. We've got Laurie, long-time listener of the podcast and guest twice on the podcast, good friend who lives in Canada, and she has the snow for like 3 months of the year, but they also get the heat in the summer, and I'm like, I think that might be the best of all the worlds.
And glorious autumnal or fall seasons of
course, they're
leaf
known for their like
colours.
maple
Yeah,
leaves and
maple
stuff, aren't they? So let us know if you know a country that has a better division of seasons where you get a bit of everything and it's really nicely done, because there might be some states in America that get it like the exact 4 seasons. Let us know, because I'm looking for that perfect place.
Right,
it must be out there somewhere. It still has 4 seasons.
A nice sunny, not overly hot summer.
I don't mind if it gets too hot, just it needs to be a country that is used to it, can cope with it, and doesn't last too long.
Okay, a nice wintry winter.
So there's air conditioning available. Snowy winter.
Yeah, a beautiful, colourful fall.
Yeah.
Autumn.
And then a lovely sunny but not too warm, loads of nice flowers in the spring.
Yeah. Although I would probably expect that most places in the world would say that their seasons are messed up now. That there's something globally that things are out of sync and this is too long and that's too short.
This is what we say, but there may still be somewhere out there that always has these things with the perfect conditions.
I'm reminded of Michael from The Good Place, although he was talking about humans, that the problem with you humans, and his character in The Good Place is a demon, but it's a nice demon, isn't he? But he says the problem with you humans, you're always too wet or too dry.
Yes.
And that's probably our issue with the seasons, isn't it?
Too wet or too dry.
Too wet or too dry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, that got depressing.
Thanks. Yeah.
Right. We're back.
We are.
And I think it's safe to say that our time away wasn't quite as we expected or as we anticipated in the episode before we went.
Yeah, we had dreams, didn't we, of what that length of time away would look like for us? But those dreams were not realised. Not on this occasion, anyway. Maybe another 9-week trip away from the UK. We have to wait for that. There were things happening that were out of our control, family-related stuff that we were giving time and energy to that we weren't expecting to, which had a big impact on our time. And while we're very open and honest about our own stuff and stuff relevant to us, this is about other people, so it's not our story to tell.
Yeah, but it involved some, like we said, a shift in expectations. It involved some losses. There was some stuff that we need to process getting back, and yeah, it's been interesting looking back at it now we're here as one whole experience. I think that's easier to look at and process than when we were actually there. But yeah, it was different, very different from what we expected. And that's life, isn't it? I think things happen, curveballs come, humans, people, weather, buildings. I don't know, everything in life is unpredictable. There's always things going wrong somewhere and things change from what we think they'll be. And this is one of those things for us. So yeah, there's a lot to process now we're back.
And the flies.
Which
is probably the one video that I've showed the most times when I've been at work. When people have been like, what's it like? What's it like there? And I'd be like, oh, let me show you. I've gone to the video of me, my up-close face video covered in flies.
Yeah. If you haven't heard the previous episodes, that will make more sense when you've listened to those. But yeah, there were a lot of flies around. In Australia, to be fair, Singapore not so much. But yeah, in Australia, flies.
Home, sort of sweet home.
What, without flies?
Without flies. Although I just squashed what do they call a fungus gnat?
Yeah.
Out of this avocado plant.
We get a lot of those around, especially if you've got houseplants. They're just a given. But I don't mind them. They're harmless.
They're tiny.
They just buzz around.
So it's Christmas, and we're building up to that. We're a few days away.
Yes. So if you're new to the podcast, over the years, we've always done a Christmas episode to check in with how we're doing. So in the early days of the podcast, we did a lot of interviews and chatting to other people. And Christmas was a really good time for us to check in and just have a chat about how we're feeling about Christmas, how we're feeling about childlessness, where are we with heading into a new year. And we thought we'd do that live on the podcast and share it with you guys. So we've done that every year. And here we are again. When we started the podcast in 2021... we started with an episode called Chris's Loss of Christmas Spirit. So, we were a bit down on Christmas when we started the podcast. I think we've been through a few years of just feeling like we don't fit in if we're childless. A lot of what we wanted wasn't happening. It felt sad. It felt frustrating. It was, I'm not a big fan of the word triggering, but it probably did trigger a bunch of things that you're trying not to think about. And yeah, it wasn't great. And we're like, Chris especially felt like he just lost that excitement that you have as a child when you're younger about Christmas, and how do you get that back? So that year, if you're feeling in a place where you're really struggling with Christmas, or you are in a sort of a, I don't know, you're feeling a bit Scroogey, then go back and listen to our 2021 episode, because that will probably get you right where you are and help you understand what we did with that and how we were trying to be intentional about changing it. We also did an episode that year about the weird time between Christmas and New Year, because that was something I always struggled with. It's this sort of time where most people go back to work, but then a lot of people have like 2 weeks off. So everyone vanishes, especially those with families and kids. They might go off and do stuff. They might go and see family. I felt like it was a weird, sort of strange, quiet, bit lonely time. So we did an episode just chatting about what that looks like. Then in 2022, we did an episode called Finding Comfort at Christmas. And we had some guests on. Well, we didn't have the guests on. I asked previous guests to record some snippets for us about how they get on at Christmas and what helps them find comfort even when they find it difficult. And we also talked about how the podcast had helped us prepare for that Christmas and how we were sort of trying to be more intentional. And then in 2023, we had another one just chatting about, again, Christmas and childlessness and how to find your Christmas joy again. But also why it might always be a bit sad. You know, if you've lost people, if you're dealing with grief, if you're just carrying that through life, there's always a sadness to Christmas. And we sort of explored that a bit. And then on Christmas Day in 2023, we put out an episode of clips from our guests telling us why Christmas is hard for them in their grief and what helps them. And then last year, in 2024, we did another episode. Chris wasn't very well, which we'd forgotten about until we looked back recently. And you had a word that you'd shout every time you were coughing.
Mistletoe?
Yeah, and that meant I had to cut and just...
Okay, that
cut
was
all the
supposed to be
coughing
the
out.
cue.
That was the cue, yeah. So yeah, Chris wasn't very well, but we were chatting then about all the hopes we had for the coming year, and we had quite a few. We had our long trip to Australia. I was starting a new hormone treatment that was looking very hopeful. And I think overall, having learnt from the previous Christmases, we were feeling in a really good place. We'd made Christmas very intentional. We were making it something that would kind of bring us joy and, you know, include all the bits that we love. And apart from your illness, yeah, it was kind of a good place. So that was last year. So we've been in lots of different places around Christmas. So you might want to just listen back to some of those episodes depending on where you are and how you're feeling this year. But now we are in 2025. How are you feeling this Christmas?
Well, before I answer that, I think one thing I've become increasingly aware of is just how much you hear now publicly talk of Christmas as not necessarily always being times of great joy, whether it's through churches or through groups, organisations. I think you hear a lot more talk now of people just being more aware of those that aren't, you know, let's not assume that everybody's having the best time at Christmas.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think every Christmas film and a lot of TV stuff, I think they've always cottoned on that the best kind of watching at Christmas is for people to go through a hard time and then find some kind of joy or redemption at the end of it. So I think that has been the Christmas story especially with fiction and films and things. They know you need a hard time in Christmas for it to become a happy ending. So I think it's always been there. But yeah, I think maybe it is creeping more into the services that people offer. I'm hearing more about Blue Christmases and Comfort Christmas services where they're put together for people who are struggling at Christmas. And it feels a bit more like even with the adverts at times, there's an element to something sad going on and then something happy happening, rather than just the big happy Christmas scene of like, this is the gravy you want for your perfect Christmas. I think there is maybe people are picking up on it a bit more. You don't want to go too far that way. We don't want it to be all depressing for everybody.
No.
But really good that there's a bit more acknowledgement because it will always be a time of highlighting family coming together.
Yeah, but being honest, that certainly in this country, probably in parts of the West, there hasn't been a time like this with so much brokenness, with so much division, with so much ill health, what it seems like, what it feels like, that, you know, there aren't many families, I can't think of any families really that I know that don't have some sort of fallout or sadness that they're dealing with. So, yeah, just acknowledging that, recognising that, I think. Anyway, you asked me about me, how I'm doing. Thank you for that.
It was just Christmas 2025, which that is part of Christmas 2025. Yeah. And actually, I think just while you're talking about that, that's one thing that we can really offer and be aware of, I think, is just not doing that whole, did you have a great Christmas? And we've talked about this many times on the podcast, but I think something like that is so big. When you're intentional and you go back to work or you're breaking up for Christmas or whatever it is, when you're chatting to other people, just be aware the chances are there's something about this season they're struggling with, whether it is missing someone, whether it's financial, whether it's, you know, family members not being around, maybe it's a family unit that's not together, whatever it is, there's probably something there. So just acknowledging that and sort of finding a way to word your questions that don't imply it's going to be amazing, I think is a really lovely thing you can do for people, especially after Christmas when you're asking how was your Christmas and not pushing the whole, did you have a great, where they feel like they have to say yeah and then just shut down on the other stuff.
That has definitely been very evident with just how many people say things like, even like after this trip back at work, the vast majority of people will say, did you have an amazing time? Which is quite a loaded question. Yeah. Because if you didn't, I sort of know why you say it, because you want that to be the case. Oh, did you have an amazing time? Yeah. But actually, you need to, I think, just be a little bit more neutral. How was your time?
Yeah.
What was it like? And I did share, do you remember, a year ago after last New Year, that I think, a really nice way with colleagues, if you've got a decent relationship at work or friends, family, when someone says to you, Happy New Year, just go, yeah, to you too. Was it?
Mm.
You know, or
Yeah.
if someone says Happy Christmas, well, do you think it will be?
Yeah.
If you want to have that sort of conversation, if you feel like listening, caring, taking interest in them, rather than just saying, yeah, Happy New Year, and then that's it, Happy Christmas, say, was it a Happy New Year? Was it a Happy Christmas? How was it for you?
It can be so lonely if you know that your Christmas isn't going to be happy, or if you're on your own or something like that, and then constantly people just throwing Happy Christmas at you before they head out the door to their seemingly perfect Christmas, which they won't be having. But if they've got like a family unit that are getting together, there's always the assumption that will be better than whatever you're having if you're on your own or if you're having a hard time. So to have 100 people just throwing that at you before they go out the door, it's a really lonely, isolating experience. To have one person that just says, what are your plans? Are you looking forward to it? Not everyone is. Find out why. So, yeah, I think that's really key. And that's something so small but really important that we can do.
And I'm generally doing better than you this Christmas, I think.
Yes, yeah, probably.
I'm more excited about Christmas, probably for reasons of distraction, for external things rather than internal. I think I enjoyed so much last year, the food, just the two of us, Christmas Day, we cooked an amazing lunch, which I loved. And then I loved eating all the bits for the days afterwards, and just the snacking on cold meats and cheeses. Don't stick your tongue out with me, just because you have a crap digestive system. So I'm really looking forward to things like that, the distractions, the things that the comfort eating, which isn't a good thing necessarily.
Sounds so healthy.
But I'm looking forward to that. So I'm in quite a good place, and for me, I've got quite a bit of time off work, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, we really thought you were going to be dealing with all the on-call that no one wanted.
I thought I'd be thrown into working more than less, but it turns out I'm not really needed very much. So because of how Christmas and New Year falls in days of the week, I've taken a few days off work, which has given me a whole week off work.
You're pretty much off almost between Christmas and New Year, which
hasn't been the
never
case
happens.
for years.
No.
So that's lovely to consider as well. So you'll be less alone this year.
Yeah, that's
but you're
always
still
nice.
more miserable than I am.
I think miserable is a strong word.
It is. It's the wrong word.
Yeah, I think last year I was, we've been so intentional about Christmas. I feel like I've got this sussed. Like this is going to be good. And then there's a lot of stuff in the new year we were looking forward to. This year, I feel like we've come off the back of some stuff we're really processing. My kind of annoying IBS-y stomach is not working as I would like it to, and it's the worst time of year to have to keep saying no to food and nice drink. And I've already got quite a cutback diet anyway because of things that I just can't eat or drink. So I don't drink alcohol, and I can't have too much caffeine and not too much sweet stuff. And that already is, painful. I don't think I'll ever get over the loss of stuff like that. And then at Christmas, when it's even less interested in eating stuff, I do find that really, really depressing. So I think there's a little bit of that going on because I'm curbed in what I can and can't eat, which that's one side of Christmas I do really enjoy, is the food. But also, like, I was chatting to somebody yesterday about like looking forward to next year and stuff, and I just like, it's one of those years that's just empty with unknowns. There's nothing in next year yet, and that is a little kind of daunting / depressing. I think for me, I would like something in there. There's the potential for and last year I was starting this new hormone treatment, which we were really hopeful about and has been good, but it's taken all year to get good, and we're not quite there yet, so I'm carrying it into another year. So next year could be the year when I do really hit the peak of it, and there's every reason I will, but I thought that last year. So it's still like unknowns and no particularly like yay stuff ahead. So I think that's sort of making me think, probably need to get intentional about that, but at the same time I don't know if I've got the mental energy. So I'm sort of enjoying the Christmas side of things, but yeah, I'm not on the high I was last year.
No, it's understandable, actually. I need to be more sympathetic. I recognise that.
You're
I think,
pretty
particularly around the
sympathetic.
food and stuff. That is really grim.
I
And when
mean,
you've got a husband that's loving alcohol, loving the different beers and the hobby, the imperial stouts and the sickly sweet syrupy ales, and all the food and the trimmings, people we even say with friends and family, don't we? I can put anything in my stomach and it's
I know,
generally
I'm
fine.
very jealous. I used to have a stomach like
Yeah.
yours. When I was in my 20s or whatever, I could eat anything. So yeah, I really do miss that. And even like the other night, we sat down and one thing a lot of our friends will know we're very good at is self-control when it comes to sweet stuff. So if we have chocolate, like the big bars of chocolate you get with Cadbury's or something, we know people that eat those pretty quickly, but they last us. Well, we have a square an evening, so it probably lasts us a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. And one of the things we love is a box of Maltesers. Chris loves Maltesers. And so we don't have them very often because they're stupidly priced. But when we do get one, we lock them in a Tupperware and then we'll have a few every evening. Well, not every few evenings. And that's a real treat for us and we really enjoy it and it lasts ages. But the other night you got the box of Maltesers out and I had to say no to having any. And it's just like these little... I think I'm going to do an episode this year actually on like loss through IBS because there's a lot of people dealing with stuff like that. And for some people, they eat healthily and they don't miss any of the other stuff. But I do miss it. And saying no to something like that just breaks my heart a tiny bit each time I have to do it because I really want it. But you just learn after years of just not listening to that and going for it anyway and then not feeling great that you have to. So I'm at that point now where I will just say no. But I don't want anyone to be under the illusion that means I don't like chocolate, I find it easy, or that I want that to be the case because, it's definitely not. But it will get better. It will get better.
Good, you tell yourself that.
I'm
We'll
forcing
hope
the
in
mince
that.
pies. I'm like, I am
Yeah.
going to have a mince pie when I want one.
And
So I haven't lost
you talked
everything.
about the hormone treatment hope for this year, and last year as well. We were hopeful of the fact that we had a big year with our trip,
Yeah.
which is now behind us. So next year we haven't got any sort of holiday thoughts or plans, nothing in place as yet. So it's a bit of
We
is
probably
a
need to
blank year.
put something in it just to give us something to
Yeah.
kind of look forward to. I think
So
that helps.
okay, we've got a few days to go before Christmas. What can we do about trying to help you, trying to bring you up to where I am? Which isn't. I'm not like in the.
You're
I'm
not
not walking
super
in
high.
the air. But
Well,
yeah,
actually,
how can we align ourselves
I think-
in time for Christmas?
I think the previous years of mulling this over means I don't feel like really down and depressed about things. I feel like I know what I can do to make it better. And I think it was the second year, like 2022, maybe, when we were chatting about it and we were like, we need to get intentional. What do we like about Christmas? And we went through the stuff we really like. And then we made those part of our Christmases from then onwards. And that has really helped me. So I know I love having a Christmas tree, a real Christmas tree in the lounge. I love that. That's not something I'm ever going to apologise for because I know there's some eco people out there that are anti that. Or stop having. That is something that brings me a lot of joy. I really enjoy it. I love decorating it. I love the things we have on it that remind me of all the different things we've been bought, we've been given, or we've purchased somewhere. I love the fairy lights around the house, and I've put extra ones up. I love the food and making things and making sure we have nice food that we really enjoy, which is fairly minimal for us. We're not even really high. We haven't got high standards on food even. Things like that I think we're putting in place. The music. Yesterday we went to a cathedral and we experienced some carols. I do love the carols. So
Yeah.
that was good.
It was good. It wasn't. I was expecting the wrong thing. It was quite a traditional service of what do they call them, lessons and carols.
But yeah, lessons of something and carols.
So I thought it was more of a sort of general public carol service. But we only collectively sang 3 carols.
Might have been 4, but yeah,
and
not
there was
as
quite
many.
a bit of choir stuff.
There was a lot of what felt like Latin.
Yeah,
or
moments of it were
something.
absolutely beautiful. Moment like, in fact, John, I've done this. Moment like this. Yeah, I found that utterly stunning. That brought me almost to tears. That's a bit dramatic to say it brought me to tears, but it got me suddenly. I was like, I welled up and everything inside me tightened, and I was like, wow, that was really beautiful. So there were parts of it that I really loved. And there was quite a bit of it that I was like, I want to turn around and shout to the congregation, "Come on, people, we know this one. Sing up." I thought you disagreed, but I thought the singing was feeble.
Yeah, I think for a cathedral full of people, I can see why your expectations would be higher. But because I sit at the back of a lot of funerals where nobody sings the hymns they've chosen, I thought it was
because you're a verger at the local church for
I'm a
funerals. You
verger.
don't just
I don't
choose
just
to
hang
go.
out. I love hanging out at a funeral. Yeah, because I do verging, so I'm at quite a few funerals, and that's pathetic. I feel like saying to these people, "Why did you choose this hymn if nobody is going to sing it?" But they're grieving, so it is a bit different. But I think actually it wasn't too bad, the singing, I thought, but I can understand why your expectation would be higher of what must be 500-600 people.
Yeah, we are Christians and we love church worship, and that service was not predominantly there for a worshipful congregation, was it?
No.
It was mostly done for members of the public. So there'll be a lot of people that won't go to church all year round, and they'll turn up and do that because it's traditional.
Yeah.
Not necessarily wanting to participate. Whereas if it had been predominantly a church enthusiastic, evangelistic, charismatic, worshipful congregation, I think the roof would have been lifted off.
Yeah.
But instead it was like, "Come on, people, sing up."
It makes me sad because, and I've done this on an episode, or I did it on some social media a while ago, I definitely put some posts out. Carols, I think, connect with so much of the depth and the complexity and the sadness of what people feel at Christmas. There's some beautiful words there that really connect with it, and yet all we seem to listen to mostly is, White Christmas or Last Christmas, I Gave You My Heart. It's all this sort of sad stuff, or it's like, I wish it could be Christmas every day, or it's amazing. Whereas carols they seem more realistic. There was a line in Once in Royal David City where it says, "And he feeleth for our sadness," so that God connects with our sadness. There's the one about a weary world rejoicing at Christmas. There's that lovely line where it talks about angels with their peaceful wings unfurled. There's all this beautiful language, and it's such lovely stuff to sing. It does make me emotional when I'm singing it because I feel like it really connects with me and where we are. But yeah, it's not something the rest of the world really engage with in the same way. They just kind of, maybe they sing them at a service if they go at all. We don't hear them on commercial radio and stuff much. So it's all the other sort of more traditional Christmas songs, which are more about, like I said, happy families and amazing white Christmases. So yeah, it's sad because they are a lovely part of the season and one of my favourite parts. So it was lovely to have some carols. I'd have been gutted if we'd have not had any carols because, we haven't been at the usual church services that we would have been at since we got back from Australia. So yeah, it was nice to do that. But yeah, there was a lot of some weird stuff. Like there was a lot about an apple, Adam and an apple at one point. There was a song that was several songs that were in a completely different language. I had no idea what was going on then. There was one that talked about Mary's sheer delight as she gave birth, and I'm thinking, that can't be right.
Where have you got that from?
Yeah. What woman do you know that just has sheer delight as she gives birth? So yeah, there was some stuff there. I'm just like, really? And there was a T.S. Eliot poem that was very...
I didn't follow that.
I was looking forward to that. I saw T.S. Eliot and it was about the Magi and the journey that the wise men made. I thought, this will be cool, and listened to it being read and just thought, yeah, no, that doesn't really
Didn't
connect.
that end up talking about death? Wanting a different death? I don't know what the point of this is.
It was talking about snow and like the camels lying. I was like, weren't these guys from like Egypt? Didn't this all take place in hot countries? I'm not quite sure where even the imagery was coming from. So
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag.
Yeah.
But we did queue for an hour to get in.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
So, they're
Which
very
we needed
popular.
to do. We did go we tried to go 2 years ago with a couple of friends that we took, and we went half an hour early and then didn't get in. We got turned away. I paid £8 for parking to stand in the queue outside for about 45 minutes. 15 of those were spent in disbelief. Like, what do you mean we can't go in? And then have to turn around and go home again.
The queue was, I don't know how many people didn't get in last night, but they do it 3 times. And yeah, you need to get there pretty early. I mean, that's impressive. There's still a demand for it.
I want to pause for a fun fact. And another of when you were listing carols and things that speak into the weary world, In the Bleak Midwinter.
Oh, that's one of my favourites.
And one of the tunes for that, because there's a few different versions of it, one of the more popular ones, I think it's in... Oh, no, I don't know, actually. Is it In the Bleak Midwinter? Is it that one?
That's not my favourite tune, that one.
The other one, In the Bleak Midwinter.
Yeah.
That tune is called Cranham, which was written 5 minutes up the road from us in Gloucestershire.
Ah,
So Gustav Holst wrote it in Cranham, the village of Cranham.
cool.
So that tune. So there we go, a little fun fact
And
for
I
you.
do like that carol.
I hope I've not got that wrong. I should know these Gloucestershire facts.
Let's find out.
So there we are.
I love a live Google. Cranham in the...
Bleak midwinter.
I've typed in beak. In the beak midwinter.
Yeah. It is
Gustav
the right-
Holst. That's right. Yeah, it was that one. Yeah. No, yeah. So it is Cranham.
Yeah, but what you've not been able to demonstrate for us right now is which version of it is.
Oh, I see. I can type in Cranham tune. There's probably a website. Oh, Hymnary. That always plays stuff to me when I don't want it to.
Is it going to play it out loud?
It usually plays it out
Is it the
loud.
Cranham
And
version?
then wherever I am, I get embarrassed and have to try and stop it.
This is like this massive suspense, isn't it?
Oh, don't tell me they've stopped playing it out loud.
Or is there even the notation?
Yeah, there. Look, you can read the music. There we are.
Yes, it is. There we go.
That's my favourite tune as well.
So there we go. That's the end of the fun fact. We spent enough time dwelling on that. So yeah, forevermore, if you're singing that song, that particular version, then know that the tune for that was written by Gustav Holst in Gloucestershire, in the village of Cranham.
And I do, even though I love that one, I do ignore the fact it's all about snow and frost and cold. Again, in a hot country.
Yeah.
But
Something made moan.
Frosty wind made moan.
There we go. And we moan a lot.
Earth was hard as iron, water like a stone. So probably not accurate.
No, that was that famous winter of 1873 in Cranham. I don't know what years he lived and died, but there we go. So, okay. So what are we going to do to make your Christmas better this year? Just expect realistic
Yeah,
things.
I think realistically I'm actually keeping my diary fairly clear. I've been catching up with friends that, I want to see since we're back, which has been nice. But other than that, I've kept it pretty clear of social stuff, partly because that all plays into my stomach and stuff. So I want to settle it and get it as good as I can, so I can enjoy it over the festive weekend. So for me, it's actually just, doing nice things. I'm watching some, sort of crappy Netflix films, Christmas films, enjoying those. And just,
for the 12th time.
No, actually, no, I'm only watching new ones. I don't really watch repeats for Christmas films very often, unless they're real classics.
Well, that doesn't apply to TV stuff, because you love, more than anything, rewatching all the stuff that you've watched many times.
TV episodes, Christmas episodes of things we love, then yes. I would definitely watch those. Like the Ghosts Christmas
King
special.
Gary.
That's brilliant. King Gary, Ted Lasso. Watched that last year. I remember I might watch that again. Schitt's Creek.
Of course, that was the first to go on this year.
There's no Christmas Good Place. That would have been a good one to do.
What's that thing called we watched yesterday? The play that went wrong?
Oh, yeah. The play that goes wrong?
What went wrong show?
Goes wrong
show.
Yes. I was thinking, recommend that if you've ever seen it. It's a play. It's
like
people
an
putting on a
Amdram
play.
Theatre company.
But it all goes wrong every time. But it's very funny, very cleverly done. They're all on BBC iPlayer, and there's 2 Christmas ones of those. So there's a Nativity, and there's another one. They're probably really good to watch with kids, actually, as well.
If you're outside of the UK, sorry about that.
Yeah.
You are excluded.
It might be available on another platform. Who knows?
Goes wrong show.
But that's always good.
And
Gavin and Stacey Christmas special. That's another one to throw in.
I will be mindful as I'm munching on Maltesers behind you, not to to pace myself. Have 5 and put them away.
Yes, you need to save some.
If you say no after the 3rd Malteser, I'll be like, okay, that means I'll have 2 more and put them away.
Yeah.
I won't rub it in.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I think that's and we've been making mince pies and stuff, which I do enjoy.
And you made marzipan? Even though you had some with your mince pie yesterday, and it was probably half a teaspoon on your plate of marzipan.
Well, that's not really good for my stomach, so I have to be very careful. But I can't not have it. It's my grandma's recipe. It's an acquired taste. It's semolina, butter, sugar, pretty much. And it's an old-fashioned recipe, I think, from back in the war and stuff. And she used to put it about an inch thick on her Christmas cake. And a lot of my family weren't too keen on it, so I would go round hovering up all the icing and marzipan bits that were left over.
Hovering up all the marzipan? That's clever. Very lightweight marzipan.
I would hover near the people until they'd finished their cake and then hoover up what was left over. So I love it. So I make myself a little Tupperware of it and I just take a spoonful out of it and add it to stuff I want to have marzipan with.
Half a spoonful out of it.
It
half
was
a
half.
teaspoonful.
It'll get more.
Tiny amount.
It'll get more as the week goes on.
Poor
Don't
thing.
you worry. I had to stop myself from just having it like all year round, eating it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing that obviously we need to tap into, because we always check in on this at Christmas, is how are we feeling about childlessness and being childless at Christmas? For those, again, who are new, this is not a new journey for us. We went through, I think in 2010, if I remember correctly, we found out that it was going to be tricky for us to have children. And from then onwards, it was, talking about all kinds of stuff and looking at IVF and everything like that. So that's 15 years ago. So, yeah, and we were trying, I think, for kids just before that. So we worked out the other day, our kids would be around 16 years old now. So we're not looking at, I know previously you said you always think, when you think about not having children, you think about having a baby around. Whereas I thought more about the older children. But yeah, well, where are you 15 years on? Where are you with that now?
Oh,
and I haven't actually
wow.
asked you this for months, so this is going to be new information for me.
Yeah, mostly good. I think mostly good. I still recognise in me a slightly unhealthy need to distract myself. So, I'm actually saying that because I think one of the things I'm reminded of as I'm thinking is that we've said many times over the years that childlessness is not going to be something that we will get over and then it will be dealt with. It's going to be something that we will keep dealing with for the rest of our lives because there'll always be ages and stages, things happening, even in our time away. I think one of the things we were thinking of, and with certainly myself, parents that are aging, and we're more involved in just looking out for them than we have been over the decades, is it makes me ask questions like, who's going to look after us? Who's going to visit us? If we're in a home or in some sort of accommodation, living wise, I really hope that there are friends that we have. I don't know, children of friends.
Well, our friends will be the same age as us, so they
that
won't be any
will
use.
visit us, maybe or maybe not. And not everyone has a brilliant older life if they're in care homes. There, I'm sure, are many people in care homes that don't have visitors. So I don't want to assume anything, but it just makes me ask questions like that. I think the more I become aware of it. But I'm just saying that just to remind myself that, yeah, this isn't going to be something I process, I deal with, and then it's going to be forgotten about. This will be something I will never forget about. So it's how do I healthily continue to deal with it? And I think I'm doing better than I've ever done in recognizing it, in not dwelling on it, but knowing that it's always there, and there will always be things that I acknowledge and times where I'm a bit sad. And yeah, I'm okay with that. So I think, to answer your question, I'm probably in a pretty healthy place, even though I did say I recognise some bad health in distracting myself. And not just about childlessness, but about all things. My way of dealing with discomfort is comfort, is forcing myself to find comfort. And I think that's quite a bad thing. That's quite a bad thing, I would say, stereotyping or generalising for the entire Western world, that we are very bad at dealing with discomfort, that we will race to find something to make us comfortable. And for me, that might be food, that might be drink, that might be entertainment, that might be going out. I need distraction from this discomfort. And I think looking at us, we're surrounded by people in our nation that will comfort themselves with food, alcohol, drugs, because they don't like the discomfort of the life they're living. Oh, this is getting really deep, isn't it?
Deep, isn't it? Yeah.
So I have tendencies in myself for that and you help me with, and I frustrate you at times because I'm trying to force my distraction on us both, that we need this. And then I will look back and be like, I had such an opportunity there just to sit and, I'll use the word meditate, even though I don't mean that in a sense like, but just to sit with, to think on, to journal, to read, to be still.
Marinate.
I'll look back and be like, I had such a good opportunity then, but I was too much in my own head of frustration and disappointment and anger to actually allow that to happen. I should have planned for that.
That's interesting, because I hadn't really thought about you when you want to do stuff like that as distracting yourself from something. I wouldn't think to actually say, maybe no, we shouldn't, because you need to sit with this. Maybe in a roundabout way I had, but I hadn't specifically. So that's a good reminder to me of just knowing how you cope with that. Because I was thinking while you were talking, it's interesting how we like the Enneagram, don't we? Each different Enneagram type or different personality type, different people have different ways of trying to get away from things that are uncomfortable, whether it's distraction or whether it's, trying to change the definition of what you're going through to something that makes it seem really good, like denial, or maybe it's focusing on others and not yourself. There's lots of different ways that we we do that, and then we justify it as good. Well, I'm busy, so it's good. I'm going out and about. I'm socialising, so that's good. Or
it's a delicious 12% imperial stout.
There you go.
I'm enjoying it. It's like, yeah, but you could have a cup of tea.
Or I'm looking after someone else. I'm looking after them, so therefore that's a really good thing. But it's like, well, is it? You need to deal with your own stuff as well. So, yeah, no, it's interesting. I think it's always going to be difficult, like you said. I don't think it's ever going to go away. It's not really a grief that feels like it gets better. It just keeps changing, because it's not one thing. I think, I lost my grandparents, and that's sad, and I miss them. It's not as sad now as it was at the time. I miss different things about them, maybe, but I feel like it gets easier. It was a natural death, in the right order of things. There's a level of that feels like you can get to a point of having a healthy memory of them and know that it's sad, but also, I feel like it gets better. Whereas with this, I feel like it just keeps changing. So I don't know what I'm grieving. 1 minute you're grieving the fact your friends are having babies and getting pregnant and all that side of things. And then the next minute your friends' kids are going to school, and then they're going to university, and it's all new things. And, I'm sort of dreading the bit where they all start getting partners and then having kids, and the families get bigger, and they get to our friends experience grandkids, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my word, that's going to be...
Well, that's a strong word though, dreading.
Yeah, it is strong. But I think that will be a harder stage in some ways, because I was never like one of those crazy baby people. But the idea of having a family around you, or meeting your kids' partners, or seeing them have children that are related to you, but all that sort of experience, I think, oh, that feels even more, I don't know, exciting in some ways. So I just think at the moment we're in the middle of that. We haven't got that, but I know it's ahead. So it just keeps changing. And I think maybe dreading, because it's a different grief to have to process. And I'm not processing it right now because I'm not watching it. But I know that even though I'm aware of it, once I start watching it happen, it will be a little bit harder. So I do hope I'll be in a healthier place by that point, so it doesn't affect me. But I don't really know how you get to that place. I do think if I had... if I was at work, if I had a job, if I had a successful career, if I had something that was going on that I was really proud of, then I think that would distract me, whether that's healthy or not, from other things I don't have. But I do find it difficult when I'm in conversations with people, especially women, because you just compare yourself to women, who have a good...
I don't.
Well, maybe you don't. Who have a good job and they've got a family. No matter how hard it sounds or how tough it sounds, there's just something in me that just always feels a little bit left out. Like I don't fit. I should be the one saying I'm tired because of this and that and the other, or I'm worn out because I've been running the kids here, there and the other. And even though all that is difficult, to not have any of that in your life doesn't feel like a plus.
And yeah, you do use that word fit quite a lot in conversations about where do I fit.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing for you.
I'd like to get to a point where I don't feel like I need to fit anywhere, but it's very hard to not. I'm fine, normally, but then when you get in one of those situations and you feel like you don't fit, I don't know what you do with that. So I think that will always be there. But it certainly doesn't... I don't come home and cry about any of it. It doesn't, make me... It's just a sort of it just taps into a bit of a deep sadness inside of like, oh, that isn't my life. But then, you get on and you try and make what you have of your life. So it's not like it's awful, but like you said, I don't think it will ever fully go away. I don't know how I would ever become the person where it fully goes away. But, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, okay.
There's hope.
Reminds me of another Christmas carol, traditional Christmas carol, Away in a Manger. At the end of one of the verses, and fit me for heaven to live with thee there.
That's where I fit.
There you go.
But I don't want to go just yet.
No.
I think I'm ready to unfit for a while, and then I'll fit.
All the Maltesers you could dream of.
On. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to
eat heaven.
So much food. I honestly believe that in heaven there's no toilets. I don't think we have to deal with that side of things. So you can eat whatever you want and it just sort of vanishes into the stuff.
Right. There's no waste.
No waste. No, it's just all amazing. Yeah. Some people have this real vision. I think this is what frustrates me. I want to tell the world. Christians, or a lot of Christians, don't think heaven is floating around on a cloud playing a harp or hanging out with angels or suddenly becoming holy. For those of us that look at the Bible, it talks about a new heaven and a new earth. That means this place we are in now, all the amazing things, all the beautiful waterfalls and the nature and the mountains and the food and the animals and the relation, everything about this world that's amazing is in the new earth. This is not like we'll float around in the heavens. No, it's really cool. So, You want to be there.
And you'll be potentially, you talk about not floating, but you might be hovering around people's
I
plates.
might be.
Hovering up the marzipan.
I will be hovering. Maybe we all
The
hover.
heavenly marzipan.
In heaven, we might all hover. You know, who knows? You get perfect body as well. Definitely looking forward to that.
Right.
Yeah. And me and you have made a pact that we're going to find each other, because obviously you're not married in heaven. But
Well, that's more your pack than mine.
we're going to... Hey! Don't leave me alone.
Okay, I'll be distracted with the Maltesers.
We've made a pact. We're going to be the only couple that defy heaven and find each other.
Right, okay. Thank you for sharing that.
One thing I did want to share on this episode was, what would be your top tip? So for people out there that are finding Christmas hard, this year is like, oh, this is going to be a tough one. Or I'm lonely, or I'm sad, or I'm really missing somebody, or I'm not looking forward to what's coming up. What would be your top tip if you're finding Christmas hard from your personal experience to try and bring some hope or joy?
Yeah, okay, good. Good, well timed, 'cause I've actually got an answer to this because of what I was thinking on in the cathedral carol service that I had mixed experience at. So my top tip would be to recognise now that it's not going to be perfect, that it's not going to go all your way, but there will be moments, and think on those. So the cathedral, as we mentioned, there were moments of utter beauty, and it was just wow. And there were times of disappointment. And come on, people, sing up. Where I wanted more, I wanted louder, I wanted grander, I wanted bigger. And it wasn't there. But there were moments. So do I come away and just talk about the bad and the disappointment and the frustration? Or do I think on the moments of actually that was glorious? The setting was incredible. You know, how fortunate to be in a building like that dates back thousands of years. It's such incredible architecture that is a huge destination for tourists. You know, we've just come back from Australia where it's like history goes back 200 years and we're around buildings that go back thousands of years. So, you know, recognizing that not everything is going to be perfect this Christmas for you. Not everything is going to go your way. Not everything is going to be great and memorable, but there will be moments, and think on those.
Nice. That's not dissimilar from mine, actually. So mine is, I think it's summed up in the expression, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And you might think I'm heading for baby Jesus, which I'm not. It wasn't anything to do. Although as a Christian, you could take that as a, remember the baby and all that. But actually, it's more about the things that have helped me the most have been to find something about Christmas that you love and intentionally put it in place. And this is not a new message from us or from me on this podcast, but it has helped me hugely. And it might just be the lights. Just putting up one set of fairy lights in one room, even if you don't feel like it. It might be just making some mince pies or buying some mince pies. It might be marzipan. It might be going to a cathedral and hearing some carols. It might be putting on some music at home on Spotify that's Christmas. I don't know what it is about Christmas that you love. There might be one tradition that you did with your family or with your mum or your dad or a sister or somebody, and you just do it on your own. And you're sad that you're not doing it with other people or whatever it is. Like you said, it's not going to be perfect. I think that is a really good starting takeaway. It's not going to be perfect. But don't throw the whole of Christmas out and lose everything you love about it at the same time. I think you could very easily throw the baby out with the bathwater and just think, Christmas, I'm not doing any of it. It's rubbish. It's bad. It's depressing. I'm just going to skip it. I'd say, no, don't do that. Find things that you love. If you're on your own on Christmas Day, make yourself a meal that you really enjoy, or buy a meal, get a meal catered for you. I don't know. Do something. Don't just give up on it all. Even if you just create a tiny little tradition for you, do something that you really enjoy that makes it memorable, because it's really sad when you have a bad Christmas. It's horrible, and to intentionally allow that to happen, I think is not good. So even if you're grieving, even if you've had a horrific grief in the last week or so, and you're going into Christmas carrying this, knowing you can't do a normal Christmas, that's fine. But find one small thing that you can do that just makes Christmas a little bit more meaningful for you. So not a lot, not dissimilar, but I think they make a huge difference. And for me, obviously, part of that is my faith, and the Christmas story is about hardship. It's about tough times. It's about a family that weren't where they wanted to be. They weren't doing what they wanted to do. There's a lot of, bad rumours around about, how Jesus was conceived, and Mary's suffering with all this stuff. And there's these weird men coming to visit, and they bring, inappropriate gifts and all this sort of stuff.
What are you going with this? Weird men and inappropriate gifts. That wasn't in my school nativity.
Yeah, but, Mary just given birth.
It wasn't an air fryer.
Gold, myrrh, and frankincense. They're not useful new baby gifts, are they? They're weird. They're a bit odd. They're like prophetic, but they're a bit strange. The meanings behind them are lovely.
Very high value, though.
Yeah, but she's about to become a refugee in Egypt. Running around with this stuff has probably made them more vulnerable to thieves.
I hadn't thought of that before. Cheers, guys. We're going to do with this now. We're about to flee.
I don't know. Exactly. All I'm saying is it's not a perfect story. It didn't go as everybody planned. It was hard. So, yeah, connect with that. That's where we're supposed to be at Christmas. If you don't believe in the Christmas story, why are you celebrating Christmas? That's where we come from. That's what this is about. And it's a tough story. And if we'd have kept with that, I think more people would feel happier at Christmas because it's about something that's difficult. It's not just about the joy of a new baby, which a lot of people see. So, yeah. So connect with that if you want to, but if that's not your thing, find something that is your thing, connect with it and find meaning. Maybe it is light in a dark world and you just put some fairy lights up. It could be whatever, but yeah, find something. That's helped me anyway.
Amen.
And yeah, as a parting gift, I guess. Well, it's not really a gift. Don't get too excited. I haven't got gifts for the listeners.
Weird gifts.
Yeah, weird gifts. Here's a hug.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You actually did the arms.
I did the arms, yeah. It's a hug for
Okay.
you as a listener. Feel the hug. Put your arms around yourself. Just feel a hug from the silent Y. No, but it is about giving to others. So I think I'd also want to say, think about what you can give to other people. And it might be an episode from this podcast. There might be someone you know who is struggling. We've got loads of stuff. I've also got, if you search for hopelets on our list of episodes, I did 5 hopelets and I put them out in 2021 and 2023. And they're 5 days of just trying to help you if you're really struggling with hope. If you feel like you haven't got any hope, if you feel like your hope is weak, if you feel like you need some guidance, there's 5 different aspects and they're 10 minutes long. They're really short episodes just to give you some hope in 5 situations when you might be struggling with it. So maybe there's something that people need. Maybe you need that. Maybe you want to, maybe you've learned some empathy from this podcast and you want to share that with other people. Maybe, like we just said, you want to ask people how their Christmas was in a different way. Maybe you want to spot someone that's struggling that no one else will notice and help them out. Maybe you want to give them a Herman just to show they're not alone. They're a great gift in January, February, when all the Christmas and New Year buzz is over and someone's a bit sad. Why not just send them one of those and say, hey, I see you. You can gift loads of different things. I'm not talking about financially to the podcast. We love that. Of course we do. That keeps it going. But, I think these are nice things you can give other people that have come from us. And also, you can gift us in return, because then we get listens, downloads, Herman sales, new listeners. We love all that. It's a big gift for us. So there's lots of giving that can be done in all directions.
Beautiful.
Has that made any sense?
Yeah, it did.
Great. Do you have a last wise word from Chris at this Christmas?
No.
Oh, come on. I thought I was setting you up for something really wise last minute.
No, we've said it all. We're just going to sign off in the usual way that we like to sign off our Christmas episodes.
G'day.
No, it's our in unison Christmas greeting. Why are you looking at me like you can't remember what we do? We do it every year.
I've got a feeling it's not just Merry Christmas.
It's close. You got one of the words right.
Oh no, I have forgotten it. I've been away a long time.
Put it down to menopause brain.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopey.
Got it. Yeah. So
Okay.
we don't wish everyone a merry or a happy Christmas because it's not merry or happy for everyone. But we do wish them
you
a Hopey Christmas.